Bow. L.O.T.S Approved Media. Don't shoot the messenger. DSTM. As soon as you guys come in the building, we know this is the routine. All right, let's get the routine together. You should be running to hit the like button. All right, don't be a ninja watcher. That's a person that be creeping and watching. You know, the casual watchers, don't be no pocket watcher. Y'all know what a pocket watcher is, right? That's a hater. And also don't be one of these. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what we call a peeping Tom. Some of you guys might not be familiar with the term, but don't go to jail and you won't have to find out what they do to peeping Toms, all right? With that being said, you guys, make sure you guys are slapping that like button. Now, this is a conversation that most people cannot have in hip-hop. I'm one of the most decorated hip-hop connoisseurs that is able to have a discussion like this, and you guys will see. Now, throughout the history, guys, we've always, in reference to Tupac and Biggie and Nas and the East and West Coast beef, right? Historical beef. We all kind of have an understanding of the chain of events that took place throughout that melee, throughout that period in time, which is a great time. Shout out to the 90s, all right? I hope that doesn't highlight my age. Whatever. Now, with that being said, we've heard a chain of events. We've heard Tupac tell his side of the story. Interesting. Since the passing of Tupac, we've heard Nas tell his side of the story. But before Nas told his side of the story, the kid from the West Coast, arguably the most recognizable rapper, some would say the biggest rapper in hip-hop. Does he need any intro? Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg gave his recollection of the story. All right, this is post Tupac Shakur passing away. Snoop Pac gave his story. Snoop gave his story. Nas gave his story. So with that being said, everybody has gave their recollection, their point of view from their side of the spectrum. All right, they say there's three sides to the story: your story, the other person's story, and the actual story that the chain of events that actually took place. All right, I hope I'm making this clear. What I'm alluding to is there's been some how would you say, not necessarily, not disgruntled, but discrepancies. Let's go discrepancies. There's been some discrepancies about Snoop Dogg's recollection of the story, as well as Nas's recollection of the story. Now, a lot of people believe that the reason why the story is actually changing up is because Tupac is no longer here. Let's get to it. A lot of people saying that Snoop Dogg and Nas changing up the story post Tupac's passing. Obviously, because Pac is not there to verify or deny any of their claims. Now, obviously, you have other people that were witnesses amongst that time that have a different recollection of the chain of events. Some people say that Nas' story is incomplete, or there's something there that's not right. It's not a correct timeline of events. Nas, well, not just Nas, but it seems like a unanimous decision. All right, I'm coming. Snoop, Unc, listen. Unc, listen. We love you, man. You are a statesman in hip hop. You're in the Raptors, legendary, most recognized artist in hip hop. We get that. But when it comes to the story, the chain of events, when you describe Death Row, Tupac, East Coast, there seems to be some holes in that story. And apparently, I'm not the only one that thinks that. Now, Nas has dispelled some of Snoop Dogg's recollections. So Nas is on the other end of Tupac. So he's on the other end. So he has some validity of, obviously, because he's one of the main components in that equation. Also, somebody new has come on the scene. Somebody that we probably been waiting for this guy to speak. And also his other bandmates have yet to speak about these events, right? Especially in details, or to say or to give their opinion as into the new stories that are unveiling. All right? Excuse me. I need some water. Hold up. This is serious. I'm the only one. Listen, I'm the one that's designed to tell these type of stories. You guys do me a favor. Hit that like button. subscribe to the channel, smash the subscription button, all right? And turn your notification bells on. All right. Moving right along. The rapper that I'm referring to is Young Noble, all right? Young Noble of the Outlaws. If anybody would have a recollection of Tupac and chain of events, would be the members of the Outlaws, because they was around Tupac majority of the time. I'm pretty sure they was around Tupac more than Snoop Dogg. And you guys remember towards the end of Tupac's demise, he fell out with Snoop. So before I even go there, because I'm going there, all right? And we're going to listen to some of the audio of Young Noble on another platform. I think it's Art of Dialogue. I'm not sure, but I will tell you guys what platform he's on, all right? But nonetheless, Young Noble seems to be uncomfortable, and uncomfortable is an understatement. Young Noble has obviously he has emotions invested in this. This is Tupac. This is his mentor. This is his brother. He lost Yaki Gaddafi. He lost Fatal Hussein. So he's one of the last members of that outlaw crew. All right. So obviously he has some discrepancies. He wants to keep the history intact, the integrity. He wants to keep the integrity of the history intact. And we'll speak about people trying to change history. That's a subject within itself. All right. We'll speak about that. But nonetheless, Young Noble came on this platform to express his disapproval of Nas and Snoop Dogg's recollection, newfound recollection, new recollection of the chain of events that took place. All right. Now, one thing I will say, Snoop Dogg, for one, Snoop fell out with Pac. Nas was Pac's enemy prior to that meeting in Central Park. Their point of view on the story, not to say that there's no validity. Obviously, there's validity. They're not telling a lie. But I could see where things could be adjusted to save face. It's pride, it's ego. We men, we have pride and ego. These are all men in this equation. Nobody necessarily is going to bow to Tupac just because, rest in peace, Tupac Shakur is no longer here and he's a martyr. We still have to maintain our integrity here on planet Earth. All right? So yeah, we'll speak about people changing history. That's even a deeper subject. All right. So once again, make sure you guys are hitting that like button, and we about to go in. All right. Let's pull up this interview. First up, what I'm first gonna do, I'm gonna let you guys know what platform he was on. I'll be one moment. Okay. This is Young Noble. Young Noble on, I was right, the Art of Dialogue. All right. We're gonna actually listen to the audio. Shout out to the Art of Dialogue. I didn't show the video because I don't want no copyright claims and stuff like that. All right, but nonetheless, shout out to the Art of Dialogue. That's a great platform, and you guys will see a lot of historical things on that platform because they're interviewing some of the legends, the culture. Period. All right. So now, first thing I want to do is, let me see. Let's go to this point right here. Let's see what we got right here, because I have some actually some notes here. All right, some reference points. Allow me one moment.
In front of me, me and Pac shoulder to shoulder. Nas right here in my face. My first time, in this environment, I wanted to tell a nigga how much, we all love him. But this is wartime. Pac chopping it up with him. So, it was a little pushing going on. His boys, Pac, tell your boys to back up. Niggas ain't backing up nothing. Like this, it was a little tense.
All right, so let's start. I'm gonna stop this periodically just to get you guys clear on what he's trying to the picture that he's trying to paint, because it's a picture. You guys pay attention. All right. For one, he's telling you that they was out there with Nas and his peoples. All right. So off rip, there was tension. So you can imagine the climate right now. There was tension. All right. Pac got his dudes with him, obviously, and they're meeting up. And one thing I want to make clear is you see Noble is constantly professing his admiration for Nas. So this is what gives validity to his how genuine he is and the authenticity in his story. Because at the end of the day, he's still giving praise to Nas. And remember, we're all men here. Nobody wants to give another man praise to the degree where he feels like he might be glazing a little bit, all right? But nonetheless, it was super genuine. Shout out to Noble. I would love to have you on this platform, all right? Shout out to Young Noble. one of the last members, one of the last surviving members of the legendary hip hop group from Jersey. Majority members out of Jersey, but they were different members from different areas. All right. Young Noble. All right, that part. So now let me go to my reference points. All right, you guys allow me one more. Remember, I'm a street dude. So at the end of the day, when I'm trying to access things, I'm learning how to access. I'm learning fast. All right, you guys let me know if I'm doing good in the comment section. That part. All right. So now we're gonna go to another point where he spoke. All right. There we go. All right. So I fast forward it. Hold on. All right. So it's at this point here. Let's see what's going on.
All rocking with the nigga. What I don't like is over the years, man, how that exchange, all these different stories. The truth is, you know, Nas walked up. It was about 7 of them. It was about 30, 40 of us. He didn't skip a beat, man. He didn't get, he didn't tuck his head. He walked up. He wanted to talk to Pac. The truth was, it was as gangster as it get. He walked.
Stop right there. All right. So, like I told you, we've heard Snoop Dogg, we heard Snoop's side of the story, we heard Nas' side of the story, all right? So Nas told, and also keep in mind, there's more members that actually chimed in. Jungle, Nas's brother, he gave a strange account of events that took place during that day, a timeline of things that I didn't know of. I don't think you guys knew at home, right? So he's gonna speak about Jungle also. But you guys already see, just paint the picture, just make this clear, 7 against 40. He already gave Nas his credit. He said Nas came with less men, but Nas walked up unwavering, confident, gangster. So he didn't see any, he used the term, Nas did not tuck his tail. He didn't incur. So he didn't see no signs of intimidation in him. So if Nas was intimidated, which I can imagine there is an element of intimidation, but Nas had that poker face. Y'all know how Nas do. God's son, that part. All right, let's continue.
Up and they had a conversation. Pac all sweating, telling the nigga, yo, da 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 da. Nas was cool, like yeah, da 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 da. And the corny shit though is like afterwards, all the amazing wild stories.
right.
20 fucking years later, everybody got a wild story what happened that night. His brother Jungle, I'm about to shoot Tupac. He wouldn't have made it out the fucking park. Our niggas had heat. It was surrounded. There was nothing they could do. Anybody could be outnumbered. It's nothing special about that. A couple of niggas, could go against a bunch of niggas for sure, right? But it was no win in this situation. It wasn't no, sort of amazing, wild stories that I done heard over these years. I'm gonna start with Snoop Dogg. Nothing but love for Snoop Dogg.
All right, so you guys see already, he spoke about Nas's brother, Jungle. Y'all know Jungle. Nas is from Queensbridge, one of the biggest projects in the United States, all right? One of the most toughest projects in the United States. Let's make that clear. Jungle is known in his hood, he's thorough, right? I don't know Jungle personally, but I've never heard nobody talk bad about Jungle, and sometimes your reputation exceeds you. And I think it's such as the case with Jungle. Jungle made a reference in which he spoke about how he wanted to do something he had intentions of doing something. So what Noble's trying to what Noble's doing, he's dispelling the fact that Jungle was aggressive and had intentions of doing something to Pac with a pistol. I don't know how true that is, right? But you guys are gonna listen to Noble, and as this goes on, you guys let me know how you feel about it. I don't want to persuade your opinion right now, so I'm a little bit early with this. Allow me one moment. I definitely don't want to persuade you guys' opinion. I want your honest opinion. All right. So now you see, he spoke about Jungle. I told you guys, Jungle gave a chain of events that took place that I didn't know. All right. But obviously Jungle was there. And to give credit to Jungle, that's his brother. So you know you're gonna go all out for your brother. So no matter what Noble is saying, there's still an element of maybe what Jungle was saying was somewhat true, even if that wasn't actually gonna take place that day. Even if you didn't see him make a step or he didn't have the looks of it, we can admit it definitely was a thought. The thought definitely crossed his mind. Definitely. Now, he's speaking about Snoop. Uncle Snoop, Unc, listen, we love you in hip hop, Unc. But this is hip hop quality assurance. This is what this channel for. This channel is to make sure that hip hop gets its just due. So I do my due diligence. This is hip hop assurance to make sure everything is met. All the expectations, the integrity, keep the integrity intact. Make sure everybody's following the rules of this culture, because this culture has rules, and you guys have just lost your religion through the window, through the rules out the window, through the baby out the window with the pot, so to speak. All right. So what I'm doing, I'm reinstating the rules of hip hop. That part. L.O.T.S approved. Lord of the streets. They should call me Lord of hip hop. I know I'm pushing it. All right. Let's move right along. So he's about to go in on Snoop Dogg. Obviously. Snoop, don't shoot the messenger. That part. Because this messenger definitely shoots back. But that's not towards you, Snoop. All right. Yeah, my phone keeps locking me out. So you guys, allow me one moment. Thank you for being patient.
He told a wild version. You know, I think like with Snoop that I done heard over these years. I'm gonna start with Snoop Dogg. Nothing but love for Snoop Dogg. He told a wild version. You know, I think like with Snoop, like when not Snoop, Kendrick, the joint he just dropped, he was saying Snoop, I hope it was the edibles. I hope it was the edibles when he said this one. Because he had
That was wild. Listen, I think, and this is a key point I want to make. Now, I'm gonna let this play a little bit longer. I'm gonna stop pausing it so much, but I still have to give you guys, have to narrate the timeline of things. So Kendrick recently called out Snoop Dogg and said Snoop must have been on the edibles for allowing Drake to use his voice. Well, I don't know what part, but it seemed during the beef between, and it's still current, but during this beef between Drake and Kendrick, or should I say Drake against the machine, right? Kendrick utilized Snoop's voice, and I guess some people were left under the impression that maybe Snoop was being disloyal. Maybe Snoop was being a double agent, right? In which Kendrick called him out on it. Now I want to give a big shout out to Uncle Snoop, because Snoop took the best approach, in which Snoop said, he just gave him his flowers and said, nah, you right. And I'm paraphrasing now, but basically Snoop declined on responding in an aggressive manner to what Kendrick did. Snoop basically he wore it. He was humble. He with they say grit, bear grit, and whatever, man. Lost for terms. But nonetheless, Snoop accepted it, and he how would you say, he forgave Kendrick for that. All right. So this is what he's speaking about Snoop right now.
a wild version of the story, like Nas had Pac surrounded and all that. But I'm to Snoop defense, right? Snoop didn't come with Pac to this park. Snoop got there in his vehicle, his security, however he did. So I think all the niggas that we had with us, they was outside the venue. All our Jersey niggas, the niggas ain't come inside the motherfucking awards. They was outside waiting for us to come out. So
I had to stop it. So this is Young Noble discrediting Snoop's story. And Snoop made it seem like he was right there with them, right next to them. Young Noble doesn't recall that. He said Snoop was a distance, all right? And Nas actually gave the same story as Noble. Nas has the same recollection. He recalls the same thing as Young Noble. All right. So Snoop, right now, you got two people against you, brother. And I know Snoop, I've seen you kind of change stories a little bit. I've seen it. All right. Let's keep going, y'all.
So, in my mind, I'm thinking maybe Snoop, he don't realize all these niggas is actually with Tupac. They're not with Nas. So to his defense, I'ma say that, you know what I mean? But he told a wild version of the story. It was a long time ago when I saw what he said, but it was something like, Nas, he had Pac surrounded, and it was almost like Snoop version was like, Pac, Nas could have snapped his finger and it was over for Pac. And I'm like, I don't know, in his mind,
All right, so I'm gonna stop right there. So just to give you guys a sum up, basically he's saying that he's discrediting Snoop. All right, so he's discredited Snoop and Nas has discredited Snoop. We're gonna fast forward a little bit. Let's go to the 13-minute mark. What we got here? Bada bing. What we have here? 13-minute. Hold on. 12:53. Bada bing. Let's
he
go.
didn't waver at all. He wanted to talk to Tupac. They had a mutual respect. So, like, I just don't understand why it's all this crazy versions where the truth is the most gangster version, man. His niggas telling stories, niggas had Pac yoked up.
Hello.
All this fucking silly shit, But I think the most disappointing part for me is fucking nuts, right? The internet, right? Let me say something real quick. Let me say something. I think the wildest part for me is because I got nothing but love and respect for Nasty Nas, man, and what he brought to the game and how he carried himself. And
all right, I don't want us to drag on too long because you guys see he's giving Nas the utmost respect. So my hope is that Nas actually speaks to him. I think they need to have a conversation, and I think they're the perfect two because they sound like they're both mature and they both have an equal respect. At least Nas for Tupac and him for Nas. All right, so it should transition. It should, All right. Now, what I'm gonna go to. All right, next. Nas has these albums, all right, King's Disease, all right? There are editions, right? There are volumes of them. How would you say? I don't know what phrase you want to use. Which I love King's Disease, fire. But you're gonna see Noble's gonna allude to Nas dropping rhymes in King's Disease that basically he didn't agree with him. I guess Nas speaking in reference to the situation with Pac and just his relationship with Pac and things that transpired throughout their relationship, whatever it was. He doesn't agree with Nas. So this is the what's the name? This is the part of the interview where he speaks on that. All right. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Do me a favor, make sure everybody's hitting that like button. That part.
He's one of our legends and our icons. And after Tupac died, right, and all these different stories and telling their own versions, man. When the truth is the most gangster version, right? But I think when he started doing these, what's the name of them albums he was doing? The King's Diseases, maybe.
Yeah.
King's Disease trilogy he was doing this. It was like, I think when Snoop's interview set the platform for niggas to like try to run with it. So that was the most disappointing part for me. He started dropping these King's Disease albums, and it seemed like every album he was throwing little lines in there about Tupac because he knew for sure the internet will run wild with them, right? Like one line he was saying,
"We need a small business loan fast."
I got this. Loan Falcon!
There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. Go to ondeck.com, and if approved, get your funds as soon as the same day.
He ran into Pac somewhere, one of them colleges, and Pac asked him what he was drinking, and basically he gave Pac the Hennessy.
He took credit for Pac drinking Hennessy?
Yeah, it's like, when all this shit pop up, we be ignoring it, but I be getting calls and from, the family and everybody be like, Pac been and drinking Hennessy, you know. But it's like you dropping these albums, you know, they don't get played on the radio no more, things like that. He don't need none of that shit. He's rich, he's a fucking legend. But it's like the little internet buzz, right? Where I'm gonna throw a little Tupac line because he see this Death Row East story, you know, this not Death, you know, that whole MTV story, you know, with him running into Pac, how I just grew legs and all these different versions of the motherfucking story, you know. So, you know, like throwing out the Pac line, right? About teaching him how to, he gave him his first sip of Hennessy. He'll do that on one album. The next album, it'll be like, I'm gonna do the Death Row East song. You know, then the next album, it'll be like, what he say? Something about he stole Pac's Thug Life tat because he got the Godson tat, but then he's saying Pac stole the Machiavelli, the euthanasia chain from his QB chain. Now I'm a Nas fan, right? I remember in '97, you know, I think he did like a QB album, and I think that chain might have been on the cover if I'm not mistaken. I was a fan of all of them niggas. Mobb Deep, Capone, Noriega, all them niggas is dope artists. You know what I mean? Dope as shit, right? But that's one thing I remember that night, standing right next shoulder to shoulder with Pac. I remember Nas staring at this nigga's chain. I'm like right here. This is one of my favorite fucking rappers. He's right in my face, right here, with his glasses on, with the red lenses. I remember him staring at Pac chain the whole time. So I wonder if you could find, so if he say Pac stole that chain, I wonder if you could find a picture of him with that chain before Pac died.
All right, that's it with that. I'm not gonna go. I'm done with this. My notes is out of there. Now I'm not gonna go no further into the interview. The interview's probably got like what is it got like 3 minutes left? I don't think it's necessary. Just to speak about that last part, he's saying that he introduced Hennessy to Tupac. Now I've heard Nas say he showed Jay his first tech, the tech on the dresser, whoop-de-woo. Now I don't know if that's a Nas technique, but I can't necessarily touch that right now because I really don't know. But I find it hard to believe that you put Tupac on the Hennessy. And Tupac made songs about Hennessy. Like, I find that hard to believe. Now, the euthanasia chain. I don't know if this is a chain talking about, but Pac had this dope-ass chain with like some serpents on it. I don't know if that's that chain with the circle on it, with the ropes hanging on both ends of it, the circle. I think that's what he's referring to, the euthanasia. If I'm wrong, you guys let me know in the comments section. But nonetheless, he said he saw Nas staring at the chain. Now, by you saying Nas staring at the chain, Young Noble, I'm with you 100%. First of all, Young Noble, you're honorable. You're showing passion. I hear the conviction in your voice. I see the anger, and it's genuine anger that you have. And I know you've been wanting to speak because you haven't spoke about any of these events. All right? And it's the first time you're speaking, so obviously it probably built up, right? This is built up pressure, and you just had to let it go. Pause. All right? But nonetheless, because Nas was staring at Tupac's chain, I can't necessarily say because you're staring at somebody's chain, that means that you admired the chain and wanted to go purchase a chain such as that, or you wanted to attain a chain just like that. Why couldn't it have been, damn, this man went and got the same chain as me? Or why couldn't it have been, that's the chain I been was gonna get, and this man is wearing it right now? You got to think about it, because there's plenty of times that I wanted something and I see somebody else with it and I'm like, damn, I'm still going to get it. And I hope that person didn't think that I got it from them. All right. Now, you guys get a chance, go check out the whole interview on Art of Dialogue, all right, with Young Noble, one of the last surviving members of the Outlaw Immortals, one of the greatest groups, military-minded, how would you say, supporting cast, I don't know. It's like a G unit, right? They was like the first G unit in a sense. Even though I don't like to compare things, comparison is the thief of joy, all right? Nonetheless, you guys go ahead and check that video out. Shout out to Nas. Shout out to Uncle Snoop. Hope to meet both you guys. Fun fact, I done had dreams of me freestyling with Nas. Weird, right? Like literally, Nas is sitting in the car, and I'm sitting there with my arm on the window ledge, and we're trading freestyles. If y'all know I love rap and I love the freestyle. All right. Nonetheless, shout out to Nas, shout out to Snoop, and big shout out to all members of the Outlaw Immortals, and rest in peace to Tupac. All right. So big shout out to Noble, big shout out to Idi Amin, and whoever's still surviving. Rest in peace, Gaddafi. Rest in peace, Tupac. Rest in peace, Fatal Hussein. All right. Now, this is the part where I speak. Let's get wet. Listen. I've noticed throughout time that people love to change history. Listen, man, I'm a street nigga. Let me be honest with y'all. Everybody know me from the hood, from Dade County to Broward County, from Norwood to Fairway. I've always ran my hood. I've always been a leader in my hood. I'm the one that brought the pack to the hood. I remember in Fairway, niggas couldn't even serve if I didn't allow them to. When I tell you guys I'm the trendsetter, I started doing the podcasting. Most people in my demographic, in my hood, they're not doing this. But when they see me doing it, they want to do it. I'm a trendsetter. When you're a trendsetter and you're an asshole like me, self-proclaimed asshole, I'll admit it. People sometimes don't want to give you your credit. People sometimes go as far as to change history. I hate that. Let me tell you something. I dislike niggas that try to change history. You cannot change history. If you was a sucker back then, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a sucker now. But if you don't admit to being naive back then, to being dishonorable back then, that means you're a sucker in current day times, right? There's nothing wrong with being a square back then and you more hip now, but you still have to admit to your past. If you don't, you're a sucker. Let me say so. I set the trend from Dade to Broward. Y'all know what it is. Niggas know what it is. Stop trying to change history. Do me a favor. If y'all know me, stop trying to change history. We all know who got the paper first. We all know who flooded the hood first. We all know who's responsible for raising. I got a lot of niggas that I raised. A lot. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because I see the same way Noble is angry about niggas changing history. Don't change history. I'm not going to forget you niggas that ratted. You niggas that got beat up, I'm not going to forget you. Ain't nothing wrong with getting beat up sometimes, but when you act like you never got beat up, when you act like so-and-so never did nothing to you, when you try to act like as if you didn't have this past, this colorful past, that's what makes you dishonorable. That's what makes you a sucker. And I despise brothers like that. I despise people that change history. If you know me, I'm always giving people their flowers. I get a history. If somebody put you on, let them know let the world know that that person put you on. There's nothing wrong with that. That's called honorable. It's called having integrity. It's called integrity. It's called being honorable. This is what we're talking about. This conversation is about people changing history. You are who you are. It is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. That part. And you know me. I'm an asshole. Every time I see somebody try to change history, if I'm in that room and I'm in the room to break that combo, because you're trying to do a combo. We call it the combo breaker. We break the combination. I'm going to let people know, no, you did not do that, bruh. Everybody knows me. Don't ever say you did some shit in front of me. Because I'm going to let you know, and I'm going to let the people around you know, that never happened. It never happened. Let's not change history, man. Shout out to Snoop Dogg, shout out to Nas. But let's not change history. We learn from history. You cannot change history. If you change history, people are not going to learn. We cannot change history like that, bro. We can't. We got to keep this shit gutter. Keep this shit what it is. Do not change history. This is how people learn. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from your past. And your failures. Your failures is what gives strength to your, that's what validates your success. You got to be able to show your wounds, your scars. Look at my fingertips, bro. This is from punching people in the mouth. You know, this hand right here is cut up. This hand's cut up right here. All right, that's 2 different ways it's cut up. You see that? My bone right here. You see this bone right here? I cracked that bone beating somebody. You heard? And we don't need to get graphic. I'm not. Y'all see how passionate I am. So imagine what I really want to tell y'all. Imagine. Let them know, because people in the streets, they know me. When it comes to knives, guns, this is for educational purposes only. So if any kids are watching this, please do not follow behind what I'm saying. Please don't get hyped off of what I'm saying. This is more so you can understand niggas in your environment and learn that these niggas is not who they claim to be. We all know you. Y'all know who y'all is right now. Niggas is uncomfortable right now. I done ruffled a lot of feathers. Y'all niggas is not like that. A lot of people looked at y'all as suckers. Let's not change history, man. Let's keep it 1,000, all right? Let's learn from our history. Big shout out to Young Noble. That part. Big shout out to Dade County. Big shout out to Broward County. That part. And you guys get ready, because what I'm going to do is we're going to be having a paperwork party for Zopound member Ali. What's his name, last name? Ali Adams. Yeah. Ali Adams. Ali Zopound Adams. All right. He just sent me all his paperwork. I've been on the phone with Ali for the past 2 weeks. We were on the phone like 2 or 3 times. More like 2 times. 40-minute conversations, hour conversations. All right. We were on the phone like maybe 3 times. And he sent me his paperwork. So I got the paper right now, so I have to sit there and read it and interpret it. But what I want to do is I actually want to get a lawyer to sit down and read it, right? Somebody that's qualified to read the documentation and who really understands the verbiage, all right? As opposed to me, that's going to have to keep going to the dictionary to look up what the hell does this word mean, all right? That part. So we're doing a paperwork party for Ali Adams Zopound. Because there's a lot of rumors out there. Ali, there's rumors. People saying that you talked. I hear red eyes out there. Junk. Zopound members are saying that you are a rat. But you sent me the paperwork, which is honorable, Ali, and I'm going to check out the paperwork. And whatever are the contents inside that document, inside those documents, will be revealed. I have no horse in this race. But respect to Ali for even sending me that paperwork. I salute that. Let's get to it. L.O.T.S approve meter. Make sure everybody smash their subscription buttons. Make sure everybody's hitting that like button. Don't be a ninja watcher. This person that be creeping and watching. Don't be no pocket watcher. That's just a hater. You definitely want to be one of these, ladies and gentlemen. That's called the people time. If you don't know what the people time is, don't go to jail. I am the incomparable, the off the imitator, but cannot be duplicated. The one that they side from, the elected, appointed voice of the streets. I'm Lord Zoe. All right, leader of the streets, learn off the streets, Lord of the streets, living off the streets. This is powered by L.O.T.S approve meter. I want to welcome everybody to DSTM, the podcast. All right, public enemy number 1. Top up. I'm out.